Hello everyone. I want to show you how I get the eggs out of a tank that I've been breeding some Dwarf Blue Gularis in. I've caught the adults and I've drained out a little over half of the water. I breed them in a 5-gallon aquarium. I know a lot of people say that's terribly small. I've never had any problems in a 5-gallon aquarium, and it's a lot easier for me to work with the tank, so that's what I use. Now the first thing that you need to do once you get the tank down and everything is you're going to get surprises in the tank. So you want a container with some water. Now, so I'm going to set me a plastic container there with some water, and the first thing I go after is the filter. Now I do sponge filters, and I'll show you why. Here's why I like to do sponge filters. As you can see, the sponge filters will collect a lot of eggs. They'll collect eggs on the bottom. Never really sure how eggs get on the bottom of a sponge filter, but they do. And you'll have eggs of all kinds of different positions. If you look, I can get this one to focus. See, there's a couple there that are about ready to hatch. There's a about a halfway egg. And if we shift around, there's a couple of brand new ones. So that's what I use the water for, the container with the water in it, is that I want to get these eggs off the sponge filter. Now, since you could just take your finger, can I show that? You can just take your finger and roll the eggs off. Let's see if I can find my finger. There you go. You can see the eggs on the end of my finger. And I'll put them in the water. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think that's just a piece of moss. 13, 14. The eggs are hard. Don't really worry unless you're trying really hard to smash them. 15, 16, 17. So I guess it ought to put in perspective for you when you go buying these things from people. 18, 19, they want to sell you a dozen eggs for a bunch of money. I got 19 off the filter. Well, there's 20. One stuck between my fingers. There's 21. There's 22. So there's 22 eggs there just off the filter. There's one there, but it looks like it's fungus, so I'm not going to mess with it. So I'm going to set the filter aside. Now, I usually put in both a mop and a bunch of the long sphagnum peat, because the sphagnum peat's kind of the natural environment for them to spawn, and it helps to soften the water, but tons of it really makes a mess. So I had I had just the plain old killie mop sunk down. It ends up getting the stuff all over, but I don't really care. This is one from another tank that I've already picked all the eggs out of. It was the same kind of fish, red dwarf blue gularis, so I don't have to worry about mixing up the eggs. So then I want to very carefully set this here. I want to very carefully kind of grab some of the larger remaining pieces of the moss. I'll plop that in there because that's going to end up getting eggs put on it. And so will I'll put eggs on that, and I'll put eggs on the mop when I I store the eggs on peat. I can't see them. They just become totally invisible. I know other people say they can. I can't. They just become invisible, so I have no idea when the eggs are ready to wet. So I'll put some on the peat, which is kind of the way they want to be, and then I put some on the mop because I can see the eggs on a mop and see how they're progressing. So I really end up with 3 or 4 different sets. I've got the eggs I picked off the sponge, and I'll put a lot of loose eggs in there anyway. I've got some that I'll plop down on the peat moss for storage, and then on some that I'll have on the killifish mop for storage. Now, at this point I'm ready to start doing some sweepings in here and see if I can get the eggs out, but I can already tell that I've got fry swimming around in this tank right now, so I can't go being all nasty in the tank getting the eggs. I'll kill the fry. So I'm going to stop this and take it off the tripod and see if I can show you some of the fry. Here we are down here looking through the side of the tank. There's a fairly good sized guy swimming by. There's another one there in the corner swimming by. I don't think the camera's going to pick it up. See, there's another one. So I want to catch these guys. I'm going to catch these fry with my brine shrimp net, and I'm going to put them in a container with the water and the eggs from the filter, because that'll give them a safe place to stay, and I can see how many I have and what else I need to do. Okay, now the chase for these little guys begins. This is never easy to do because they're quick and they dive down in the gravel. You can't see them. And you got to be so careful. So, there goes one. Okay, I've caught a few more little fry out. Now it's time to go after the main body of the eggs. So once again, I'm going to stir it up a little bit because I want the eggs up and loose and ready to be floating around. And I'm going to take just the brine shrimp net, and my first few scoops are going to be mostly all pieces of the moss, of the sphagnum moss and stuff. So I'll just plop that in. There's no point in even looking at it. And then I just do figure eights. I don't think the camera will show them yet, but I got tons of eggs. Maybe I'm about to get enough of the moss out that you can see the eggs. There's eggs, there's eggs. Okay, got more. Key to doing this is to do it till your arm falls off. You've got a lot of eggs, it seems like you get eggs forever. You'll get down to where you just get 2 or 3 eggs each time, but you're always getting 2 or 3 eggs. And blue Gularis eggs are pretty valuable little guys. They're on the conservation list for the American Killifish Association because there's just not enough people keeping them, and there's a real concern that the fish will disappear in the hobby. Alright, now I've gotten down enough on the moss I can show you here. Get my hands in the... See if I can get the angles to show. There's an egg. There's an egg. There's a whole bunch of eggs right there. As I said, the Seems like the longer you do this, the more eggs you get. That one has a lot of eggs. Also got some sand, but that's the price of getting the eggs. You'd think by now I'd be out of eggs, but good prolific pair of blue Gularis. I'll set up in one of these 5-gallon tanks. I will feed them as much frozen bloodworms, especially chopped up earthworms. I will pump them with the protein, and I'll let them stay in this tank about 3 weeks, feeding them like that, and then I take the tank apart and do what you see me doing. And the normal response will be eggs in the hundreds. And I just move them to another tank. I rotate the fish. I got 4 pairs. I just move them to another tank and let them keep going. Now, all of this stuff in here, I'll let settle. I'm going to let all the stuff in here settle. See how many little fry I got. And then I'll take a turkey baster. Then I'll take my turkey baster and I'll be sucking up eggs and everything and squirting them out on my mop, keeping them nicely dispersed. I'll add some to the peat moss I have over there. That's as much as I can do until I catch all the little fry out. But that shows you what it is I'm talking about. And that then will give me this mop. I'll let this mop dry. Put it on a tilt. Let me angle this out. I'll set the mop on a tilt. Let the water run out of it. Probably for a day, day and a half. Get it good and dry. Then I'll fold it up, put it into a fish bag or a Ziploc bag with the date on it, and I'll let it go about a month, see how it's looking, and then wet those eggs and let all the little babies hatch. So there's how you process a tank to get the blue Gularis fry and the blue Gularis eggs out. This was Dwarf Red Blue Gularis. I want to thank you for watching. Please subscribe to me so you keep up to date on all the new things I put up. Have a good day.